What's up, Flip Factor family? This is Mike Green with the Flip Factor podcast, the #1 podcast dedicated to teaching you how to find high profit flips and manage contractors so you get done on time and on budget without a lot of stress. Today, I got Delante Desouza, and we're going to talk about how to know when you should fire a contractor because they are draining the life out of you and dishonoring every promise they've ever kept. Oh, no, I said kept, but I meant made. See, I'm getting very emotional now. This is taking me back to the days when I was just completely insane dealing with contractors.
Dark times.
Dark times, man. I don't even want to talk about this. If you see, they can see me crying right now. Like you guys are listening, but the tears are rolling down my eyes. It's been a journey dealing with contractors.
It's quite sad, everyone.
It is. Now that we're past the weeping and crying, let's talk about how to fix these problems so we can actually start making some money and kind of take control of our contractors and our business and really start to get those epic results that we all kind of want in our flipping business that we know we can get, but we just aren't obtaining. For many years, I was in this place where I was just working really hard, doing a lot of flips. So I was proud of that. But the reality is I knew in my gut that it just could be a lot better. And it wasn't until I took a 3 to 4 year deep dive that I'm still doing that deep dive. And I started really diving into how do you make contractors do what they say? Right? How do you get them to do the things they want? How do you get them to work for the right prices? How do you do all that? We call this training and this system that we've created Cracking the Contractor Code. If you want more training on it, we do have a free training that you can go to. It's on theflipfactor.net. You can go to our website. It's free. You can get that. Check it out. It's some more additional stuff. And hang out for this one because I'm going to actually tell you a little bit about how you fire them and what to do and how to know when to fire them because that's pretty important. Like, how do you know when you're just like, it's time? Right? How do you figure that out? Anyhow, Delante, I know you got some questions. What was the big question that we kept hearing over and over? I know a few people were asking this about contractors in the group. What was the question you wanted to share?
A lot of investors and like people in the groups and stuff kind of have this relationship with their contractor where they're like, the contractor's doing this work and they're not really doing it that great, or, they're kind of slow, but they're a really nice guy. And I don't want to let them go, that whole sort of deal, right? It's kind of like they feel guilty about firing the contractor because they're just not performing, right? So, my question is like, what are some foolproof, like telltale signs that show you when you need to let a contractor go and bring someone new in? They're just exhibiting like things that you're just like, okay, there's no saving this guy. Like, we got to end this relationship now.
Honestly, you might find this funny, but I would say the first telltale sign that you need to get rid of someone is when you say just what you just said. When someone's like, this contractor is slow, he doesn't get done on time, his work's not very great, but he's a nice guy. Like, okay, no one said he wasn't a nice guy, but he doesn't sound like he's a competent guy, right? We want to get very factual about it, right? I mean, he was hired to do a job, to do a quality work, do it at a proper speed. And I'm sure he's probably pretty unhappy, honestly. Like, I'm sure he's feeling your vibe of like not being happy. So the thing is, when people are slow and their work's not good, like they're not really making money. So we think that we're being mean by firing them, and they might even be mad when you fire them. But the reality is, when you get rid of someone who's really slow and not doing great quality work, you've actually are opening up them to go get another job where they would be better. Because see, whatever the reason is, whether it's their fault, it's your fault, it doesn't really matter. We just pay attention to the result. Me, let's say Delante and that contractor, you guys as a team, it ain't working. Right? Or me and that contractor who I think is a nice guy, but he just is slow and his quality of work's not great. Well, the reality is the results say that we're not a great team, right? This isn't, I don't know, it could be me, totally could be them, but I want to hire someone that makes me the best version of myself, that for whatever reason, maybe our communication styles really blend together nicely so that we can get results. Because as a team, we got to get results, right? I'm the guy who goes out, figures out what I want done, and then somebody else has got to come in and say, well, great, you want that done, but I can do it. Fastest way to know, like when we start making excuses for him, like they're a nice guy, but he's had some problems. I think, I'm hoping he'll get better. Well, here, let me just give you a little bit of future. I can just dive into, I have a crystal ball right here. Oh, I wish I had was like right there, dude. What in that crystal ball, I'm looking right in there, and guess what? I just looked 1 month ahead and that contractor is not gotten better. Oh, guess what? I just looked a year ahead in my crystal ball, and I don't even charge like $5 for this, right? To tell your fortune. He has not gotten better. He's only gotten worse. Because guess what? He gets more disgruntled the more you stay into that unhealthy relationship. Anytime they're just not doing what they're supposed to do, sometimes we got to take our emotions out and really be for the best of my business, my sanity, and their sanity. It would actually make more sense for me to get more abundant and find some really rock star people who make my life easier. See, when you work with a rock star contractor, dude, they just make it seem effortless. You just like hire them and then you come in and like, it's done. And you're like, oh my God, they don't have any excuses. They're there every day. Like I got a flat tire, but I'm there. I'm just an hour late. I'm not like 3 days later, I had a flat tire. I've never heard of like somebody getting a flat tire and showing up 3 days later. I mean, it takes me 35 minutes to change a flat tire if I get one. And then I just show up. So like, we don't deal with any of that when we get the right people. So yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I feel like that probably, like just hearing anything like that, a lot of reasons instead of results, is how we know we should fire. Now, if you want to get more specific, then if you've made a verbal commitment and they said that, you know, like you made them verbally commit to you that I'm going to be done in 3 days, and it starts to be like 4 and 5 days, like every day after that 3 days, I'm having a very pointed conversation. It's super nice. It's kind, but I'm like, hey, you said 3 days. My concern is it's 4 days. I don't want you not to make money. You know, what's going on? And I'm assessing, have they been at the house? Are they working? Are they not showing up? What's going on? Right. You know, we get into 5 days, I'm having the same conversation. By the time I get to like 6 or 7 days, they're generally firing themselves because they're getting tired of hearing me. They're starting to get annoyed with me because I'm not giving up on them. The issue is a lot of times we don't want to be confrontational. So we back off and we're like, well, we don't want them to get mad and quit and then I have to hire someone else. But here's the thing. I want them to do one or two things. I want them to get like pumped and finish, or I want them to get mad and quit. Either's good for me, because if they're not going to finish, I need to get someone else and it will. And that's the way I think about it. For many years, I didn't know. So don't think I'm on my high horse right now talking like how great I am. I'm just like everyone else. I've had to go through the struggle. And for many years, I kept people way too long. And I'm starting to evolve and understand how I was really disrespecting myself and other people who worked with me. And one of the big reasons that I'll give you for why you got to let people go, because we talked about like, how do you know when? Well, when they're just not meeting deadlines, their quality work sucks, they're stressing you out, then that's the simple answer. If you don't look at that contractor and say they're amazing and their prices are amazing, their finish time is amazing, you got the wrong person. You're not going to be a great flipper until you have that rock star person. So you got to be willing to let them go. With that being said, for many years, I kept people way too long. And here was the kind of the thought process of what I would think is like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to fire them because it's going to be so much work to find someone new. So it was coming from my own insecurity of being able to find good contractors. When you create a funnel and you create like the ability to get like an abundance of great contractors, that scarcity goes away and you go from scarcity to being abundant. And when we have abundance, we think and act very differently. Right. I mean, I always like to use this analogy. I've seen guys who are dating and maybe they're not good at talking to women. So like the first woman that talks to them, they're like, I'm marrying you, girl. It's over. I love you. Because it's like the only girl talked to me in a year. Let's just make this happen. We might not have anything in common. Right. Eventually that'll wear out. I mean, they'll be just happy to have each other for a couple years, but 10, 20 years down the road, you know, that's not going to survive. Now you take like Kobe Bryant, or you take someone who's a rapper or a rock star or someone who's famous, you know, on Instagram, they probably have abundance. So I know it sounds crazy and they're going to have a lot of people coming, but they get the opportunity to find the person they actually like because they get to go through that. So what we want you to do is I want you to be, you know, like a rapper or a rock star of flipping. And I want you to have so much abundance that you just got people begging you to work. And that's the system that we create for all of our students who create in our business. We need you to have that abundance so that way you can easily fire people when you see it not going well, because you got 2-3 people sitting on the bench waiting to come in that you're pumped about working with because they seemed amazing. You don't know they'll be amazing, but you're pretty pumped. You know, when you know you have a plan B, plan A gets easy to get rid of. When you don't have a plan B, which is very odd for many years, I wouldn't put a plan B in place until plan A left, which I think is probably the worst time you could look to hire someone is when you've already fired the first person, because now you're on like a timer. It's really, really stressful. So if I start to see any problems at all and they're starting, oh, he's a nice guy, I hear myself saying any of that, I'll literally put an ad out for his replacement. And then I'll start splitting the work between him and that person, depending on what it is. I'll start splitting it up and then I'll just compare. It's like I call it an A/B test, right? I'll A/B test my contractors and say, okay, this new guy is not as good as the guy I got. So let me get another guy and I'll keep A/B testing until I find someone who's considerably better than him. But meanwhile, my house isn't sitting vacant. You know, I'm still working with the guy who's getting done, but he's slow, but I'm A/B testing until I find someone who works circles around him. It's called top grading.
How do you end the relationship the proper way with the contractor who you're about to replace?
Well, I don't know if this is the proper way, but like, how did David beat Goliath? You know
Hit him
the
with the
answer.
slingshot?
Where at though? This is the part they don't talk about in the Bible.
Oh God, we might have to bleep this part out.
Yeah, he didn't. You think he hit him like in his leg? Where did he hit him actually? I mean, I don't remember, but he did. He hit him like in his forehead or his eye or something, because I don't feel like that rock would have did much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead and tell him. Delante said you punch him in the nuts, and
Did not say that.
Okay,
but-
he did not say that, but he thought it was funny when I said it. I was trying to blame it on him, but okay, you did laugh when I said it. And I'm the one that said it. I take credit. I was the guy that said it. So you did. Don't do that. That's a joke, obviously, but sometimes we feel like doing it. And yeah, sometimes it might actually be required when they're acting crazy. So again, I think the proper way to end it is just to be super clear communication. Start to have an upfront contract. Like when it's 3 days and they're now 4 in, I start talking to them about what it's going to be in a day or two if they're not done. And I start talking about my plan B. Like, hey man, like I have an investor. They're going to make me let you go and get someone else in if you can't finish tomorrow. Are you okay to do that? If they're like, I'll finish tomorrow. I'm like, cool, man. I really appreciate you finishing tomorrow. But listen, on Friday, the day after tomorrow, if you're not done, I'm going to be forced to get someone in. So can you make sure you finish tomorrow? If something comes up, I'm going to have to let you go. Are you okay with that? And I'll often get them to agree to let me fire them if they don't actually meet the deadline they've agreed to. So this is the secret sauce for me. How I do it is I'll get them when they're committing to getting done at the new time, because that's what they love to do. Oh, no, my bad. This happened, excuse, but I'll be done this time. I always will say, look, I'll accept your counter to when to finish, but I need you to accept my agreement that if you don't finish at that time, that I can let you go. Matter of fact, I'd even prefer if you just decided to let yourself go. And I'll tell them that. I'm saying, I'm going to have to let you go. It'll be out of my hands. I have this crazy partner, and he's an awesome dude, but Delante Desouza, he's a maniac. He doesn't deal with these overages in time. Look at him in his face. He's an animal. He wouldn't like, exactly. He's like, where's my money at? He's like running around trying to get his money, and he scares me, honestly. I don't even talk about it. I'm very scared of him. So that's the thing, man. I basically will give them some additional time because I want to be kind and give them an opportunity to solve their problems. But also I want to set in stone, like if you don't do it, then I'm probably going to let you go. So that way when it happens, they're rarely ever surprised. See, what they think will happen is they think you'll just let them keep making excuses. Even if I don't fire them on Friday, I tell them the same thing I told them on Thursday, Friday. And then on Friday, if I don't fire them, I tell them the same thing on Friday I told them on Saturday. If I do that 2 or 3 times, we're still within a week of a 3-day job, and they usually fire themselves at that point. They kind of just leave. It's all about just kind of be very clear what you're going to do. And if they quit, they quit. See, when you're not worried about them quitting, you can handle this properly. But you can't be pressed chasing them around.
Nope, because they're a nice guy.
He's a nice guy. And I've had a lot of nice guys working for me, I have to tell you. And if I had to tell you where probably most of my energy has been spent, it's with nice guys. They were a nice guy. They got crooked eyes, so everything they put in is not straight. So, I mean, it's not his fault that one eye looks to the right, and that's the reason all of his crookeds all the cabinets are unlevel. He thought it looked level in the one eye, but it wasn't. It was, he just didn't know what eye to choose.
Just
Bottom line is, yeah, exactly. Bottom line is he's going to do it right or not. And, his understanding as I've been in the past, I have to get a little more black and white. Like it's either he did it or he didn't. Right. It's either like I got the result or we didn't. If we didn't get the result, that's a little bit of a message back to us that something's not working. I'm always going to be really big on trying to figure out how to fix that. But if we try to fix it a few times and it can't be fixed, then it's really important we move on. What we don't want to do is just keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results, because we know what that means, right? That's the definition of insanity. And you're probably right now working on your flip and feeling pretty insane because you're probably like, I've been doing the same thing over and over and wondering why I'm not getting different results. It's just you're just missing systems. You're missing some things that could really change the game. You probably, much like me, have been taught all the wrong stuff early on, where guru taught you and you paid some coaching, or you heard something on YouTube where like hire GCs, do this, do that. It's highly ineffective the old ways, right? There's a very, very new way of flipping houses and managing contractors. And it's something we've been working on for a couple years, and we really just nailed in the last 6 months. And it's been just really epic for us, for our students. I'm sure it's the way people will do business in the future, because it's the way that I've seen every single successful flipper doing business right now. People who have been able to do great deals right now, still making money, still buying awesome stuff. They're following this system that we teach in Cracking the Contractor Code. So if you want to know more about that, you want to get more detail, feel free to jump on the free training, which is at theflipfactor.net. I think there'll be some awesome value from it. And Delante, thank you for being on the show. We always love having you on. Some awesome questions, sharing some of the stuff from the community. And everyone who's listening, you guys are like family to us. Me and Delante love talking with you and sharing. We're hoping you're getting some great value. So if you are getting great value, please keep listening. Please, give us a 5-star review. It's really important to us. And, we have some more stuff coming on construction. We have a whole sequence. We're going to just keep talking about this subject, because my belief and Delante's belief right now is that there's nothing more important than being really great at construction and removing these headaches. If you're committed to doing it, you can. So everyone, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. And my name is Michael Green. My work is done. Yours has just begun. And get out there and find some high profit flips and make some great money. See you guys. And thank you, Delante, for being on the show.